to Jurassic Park. If we can't protect the Earth, damn sure we'll avenge it.
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
It will be their undoing.
Surviving together is all that matters.
I'm not going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel.
This is like next level crazy.
Hello everyone and welcome to Footage Fanatics. We binge watch what's on the big screen or the television screen at home and we talk about it. Before we get today's show rolling, let's go ahead and introduce the panel of fanatics, starting with Mr. Brandon Stoll. Brandon, tell the lovely people about yourself.
About me? Well, I am a radio guy, so I'm not good at this stuff. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Eric, go ahead.
Well, I'm Eric Kemp, and I am a speech communications broadcasting major with a minor in cinema studies, and I love film, and I love TV, so I think this is going to be a perfect fit.
All right, Melanie?
Hi guys, everyone. I'm Melanie. You probably have seen me a couple times on the Met Report, along with lovely Anthony over here. But occasionally I do talk about movies on the EMED segment that I do, and it just gives me more of a chance to expand upon talking about movies. So yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, I'm Anthony Rodriguez. I'm a senior here at NBC Denver, my final semester here at Metro. As Melanie said, part of the Met Report, the assistant Jim, one of the lead anchors here. Have a radio show as well, big time into sports. And me and Melanie are interning now, starting at Fox, coming up here soon. So it's exciting. We really love to talk about movies and television entertainment stuff. So that's what we're kind of here for with Footage Fanatics. To kick off today's show, we're going to look at the weekend that was with our box office breakdown. Brandon, what did this week's numbers look like?
Well, this week's numbers, obviously, number one was Deadpool. Domestic, they hit $135 million, and then worldwide total, they hit just under $300 million. They actually hit $260 million, so the projection was a little bit over than what it was. So that was number one. Number two for domestic was Kung Fu Panda 3. That one hit $19,650,000.
Wow.
And then number three, How to Be Single, hit $18,750,000. So just right behind Kung Fu Panda 3.
So the one with Rebel Wilson?
Yeah, that one. That one was just released.
Yeah.
I got you.
Zoolander 2, number 4, hit $15.65 million.
Dang.
And then number 5 was The Revenant at $6.9 million. Star Wars, I believe this is the first week they were not in the top 5, and they were number 7 at $6.1 million.
Jeez.
That's very interesting.
All right, cool. Well, up next here on the Footage 5, up next here on Footage Fanatics, it is the Footage 5, and I believe we have, yes, the top 5 headlines from the past week in the movie and television world, and we talk about them. Melanie, go ahead and get us started with number 5.
Fantastic. So first up on Footage 5, Power Rangers reboot in the works. Elizabeth Banks will play Rita Repulsa. So I'm assuming all of you guys watch Power Rangers.
Yes.
Growing up and stuff. So how do you feel about this becoming an actual movie and franchise now?
Well, hopefully there's better acting. I mean,
Mr. The Ooze?
Well, okay, so the
first
first 2 or 3 were good, and then it just became,
Which
5-year-olds watching.
Which was your favorite Power Ranger, though?
Power Ranger? Oh, it's got to be Kimberly. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Pink Ranger? Mm-hmm. That was a 90s. No, that was a 90s crush for me. That was the first
Really?
I realized women were attractive right then and there.
But she was
Kimberly,
covered up
Pink
for
Ranger.
most of the time. She was Pink Power Ranger.
I don't know. I mean, I watched the TV show a fair amount, and they always had color coordination.
Okay.
Yeah, so if their Power Ranger was yellow, they would have yellow on, and everything else like that. Same with the Red
didn't
Ranger.
really watch it that much.
Power Rangers is
Power
amazing.
Rangers,
As I said, the one with Ivan Ooze was fantastic. It's one of the best. All the series all together, I mean, at this point, we got to get a really good Power Rangers movie. I think we're the kind of where we are in terms of the superhero movies and where movies kind of are. I feel like it's going to be hard to make a bad Power Rangers movie, if that kind of makes sense.
Well, funny story real fast. My uncle, when I was little, I was 5 or 6, maybe a little bit older, and he told me that, because I love Power Rangers, the White Ranger, right? So he told me that the White Ranger lived in the walls, because the walls in our house were white. And so every time I would go up to the wall and you see the shadow, and so then you start And then I started like fighting my own shadow.
Oh, nice.
Thought it was a white Power Ranger.
Move on to number 4 here in the Footage 5. Eric, the BAFTA Awards.
Definitely. Here on the BAFTA Awards, they already had them, the British Academy Film Awards, and Mad Max cleaned up, won 4 awards for its return to the big screen. It won for costume design, production design, makeup, hair, and editing. So.
Well, you gotta admit the editing in that movie was.
Oh, it was amazing. It was gorgeous.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
And for something that was it was set in like a deserted, apocalypse. The costume design was gorgeous. The filters that they had on for the entire movie was just absolutely gorgeous.
I don't think I rested the whole time I was watching the movie. I was like,
adrenaline
like
rush, right?
I was like, oh my god, I gotta relax. What else is next?
Well, Revenant cleaned up as well. It won Best Film, and also I like to look at the BAFTA Awards in a sense that they're kind of a nice precursor to the Academy Awards, and they actually predict them fairly well. And so, speaking of the Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio won for Best Actor for the BAFTA.
My future
Film
husband.
My best friend ever, BFFs. No, but like he won the BAFTA Film Award. I just wonder if maybe it's not an ongoing joke, or maybe he won't win the Academy. I don't know.
I hope they actually give a talented actor a chance to be recognized for
It's
his
still
great
kind
work.
of funny.
Well, before we move on to number 3, quickly, it's going to be our first time to use the spoiler alert. Mr. Spoiler, please.
Here come the spoilers. Ah!
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Spoiler. Just to make sure everyone out there knows what's about to come. Brandon, number 3 on the Footage 5, Walking Dead Season 6 started on Sunday.
Yeah.
Talk a little about it real quick.
Yeah, The Walking Dead Season 6, well, like Anthony just said, spoiler alert, a lot of people died. The idiot kid, that we all hate, that's very annoying, he finally died, so that's good. But his mom died, Jessie.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Which was very, very, very surprising. And then something that happened that actually, we talked about it before. We thought it happened earlier this season, but Carl got his eye basically shot.
How
his
awesome
eye was
will
shot.
his eye patch be when he gets it? Is it going to be really cool? Or like
don't know.
Governor, because Governor had one, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Governor-esque, or more like a bandage. What do we think?
Can they just go find the governor's dead body and just grab the eye?
Yes, I'm sure the zombie's walking around somewhere. Just find him. Do that.
But yeah, not shocking that happened. That is actually something that happens in the comics. So if you are a comic reader, then you knew that was going to happen.
Do you think they still have a strong audience base, or do you think people
The
have kind
comics?
of
I
dropped
think-
off from the show?
I think it's even more so because people want to know what happens. And they don't follow the comics perfectly, which is a good thing. Obviously, Daryl's not in the comics. I don't know. I think Carol is. There's a couple of people that are alive that are dead in the TV show. So they changed a lot of things. Like Rick is supposed to have his hand cut off 2 seasons ago. Never happened. So things that might happen in the future, but they
Kind
change
of
it
leaves
up.
people hanging a little bit. Okay, cool.
Up next, number 2 here on the Footage 5, Melanie, Ghostbusters.
Yes, Ghostbusters trailer and preview and poster release have been exposed on the internet. So, in case you guys haven't heard already, it's going to be an all-female cast as opposed to what happened originally with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. And so, what are your guys' thoughts on that, about being an all-female cast instead?
I'm excited to see it. I mean, the trailer kind of paid homage to the nostalgia of it a little bit, the little teaser trailer kind of thing. The poster is unique. It looks the same. It's the same Ghostbusters that we know and love. I'm excited to see it. Again, I think Ghostbusters, you really can't go wrong, I think, with Ghostbusters at this point. So I'm kind of excited to see, even with all female cast, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's pretty much everyone, I think, from SNL. So it's a lot of people that we've seen who know are funny that are going to be in this movie. So yeah, it should be exciting.
Yeah, keeping it with the SNL kind of cast members or former cast members, I think it's very smart, especially since there's such an alumni basis there for the Ghostbusters movies. I mean, if you think about it, you had Dan Aykroyd, you had Bill Murray, so there's these guys, these staples for SNL and comedy moving forward that define a generation. So hopefully these women can do the same for a new generation moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, well, finally, number 1 in the Footage 5, Star Wars Episode 8 is now in production. You heard me correctly. There was a cute little video they put out that had Luke kind of handing it off to Rey, again, the lightsaber, and then Rian Johnson comes in, cut, and then he says, people, ladies and gentlemen, something like, we are now finally in production, or now we are in production of Star Wars Episode 8. So, yes.
That happened really quickly. They just got Episode 7 out, so now they're already working on Episode 8.
Do you think they just right after 7, or maybe when they were there at that island scene, again, real quick, hold on, real fast. Spoiler alert, Mr. Spoiler, please.
S-P-O-I-L-E-R-S. Spoilers! Ah!
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Spoiler. Just in case we take to talk about anything Star Wars. I mean, it's been a couple months, but still.
People have seen it.
People, should.
If they haven't seen it,
right.
then
But
zero.
at the end, Luke Skywalker hands the lightsaber to Rey, and that's we kind of got a little bit. But yeah, I think since they're on that island, do you think they just shot that part right there?
They filmed it
right there.
Yeah. So Rian Johnson, I believe. Now I don't know this for sure, but what I kind of have heard rumors, because obviously they're being very quiet about it.
Sure.
But he got to shoot that shot back when they were filming for Episode 7. So that's a shot that was supposed to be in 8 that they just kind of put in 7, pretty much. So they didn't just, that's all we're going to use for this, and then we're going to go back to America, and then we got to go all the way back to wherever that is and film that all over again.
Yeah.
Right. So they whatever they need over there, that's probably already filmed.
Okay.
So that clip that you saw probably months ago.
Probably. All right, well, up against a break here on Footage Fanatics. Coming up next segment, it's our weekly movie review. This week, the focus is, of course, on Deadpool. We'll be right back.
Watch our Spanish newscast Noticiero TV Friday at 10:30 a.m. Sports, entertainment, weather, events, all you need to know about our school, our region, and our world.
On Comcast Channel 54 in Denver and Channel 20 on campus. Noticiero TV Met, the student's voice of MSU Denver in Spanish.
Roadrunners, my name is Mary Kate Newton, Editor-in-Chief of the Metropolitan, our school's weekly student-run newspaper, and this is what we do. Check us out for all the latest in Roadrunners sports, all the latest in entertainment and reviews, all the latest in MSU Denver news and other local happenings. And we are always looking for new writers, photographers, and copy editors, so if you're interested in being part of the staff, visit Tivoli 313. The Metropolitan is the student voice of MSU Denver. Let your voice be heard.
Welcome back here to Footage Fanatics. It is now time for our weekly movie review. Guys, I'm trying to talk. Weekly movie review here on Footage Fanatics, and this week we all make sure we saw it, Deadpool. Now quickly, really quickly, Mr. Spoiler, if you please.
I like spoilers. Do you?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Spoiler. Deadpool. Amazing. Melanie, let's go ahead and get right into it.
So let's start off with the rating of the movie. So the movie is rated R, and it is for a reason. I recommend that you do not take your children to go see this movie. Also, older generations probably won't get the humor as much, but it is rated R for a reason. There's a lot of cursing, there's a lot of gore and blood, and a lot of sex. But it's just, it kind of ties into the whole comic book because the comic book was just like that, right? Am I right saying that? Perfect. Okay, let's go through the cast list. Actually, I thought the casting for this movie was fantastic. First off, who played Deadpool other than Ryan Reynolds?
Yes.
He was amazing. I think this role was pretty much made for him.
I mean, as long as when they don't, sew his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Merc with the mouth
exactly.
for good. No green suit. He is Deadpool. We're good to go.
And I was just going to go through other movies that he's been in. Green Lantern, we'll just go ahead and forget about that. Safe House. I mean, he's a really talented actor in terms of being a serious actor and being in a lot of action roles. So Safe House with Denzel Washington was a really fantastic role that he was in. But he's also hilarious. He's a great comedian. So he was also in Just Friends and Van Wilder, if you guys have seen those movies. So he's just sarcastic, and I was watching interviews that he was in, and he absolutely loved playing this role, and you could totally tell on screen. The hot chick, Marina Baccarin, who was in Deadpool, she's actually kind of not really a well-known actress, but she was in Serenity, if you guys have ever seen that, if you're into sci-fi. She was in Spy, that just recently came out with Melissa McCarthy, and she was also in Son of Batman. I think it might be an animated series that she was.
Yeah, it sounds like
for
an
a voiceover.
animated series.
I think so. But you can kind of tell she kind of likes the whole superhero genre and stuff like that. TJ Miller, who played the comedy relief in the movie, I think he's hilarious. He was actually a voiceover in a couple of animated films. Big Hero 6, How to Train Your Dragon, Yogi Bear, and he always plays like the side character roles. He was in Transformers. Get Him to the Greek. He was really funny in that.
He was great in this
Yeah.
movie. He was a perfect fit.
He
And
definitely added that element of comedy and kind of broke up the tension a little bit in the
little
movie.
digs to Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, and he goes, "Thanks,
Exactly.
appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for calling me ugly, or thanks for making fun of my, having cancer or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. It was great."
Yeah. And then last but not least, the villain in the movie, Ed Skrein. I think he played this role pretty
Francis.
fantastic.
Yeah, he's great.
Francis.
Yes. He was also in The Transporter Refueled, Tiger House, and Sword of Vengeance. So he plays the tough guy pretty well, the whole British villain. He does it fantastic. So a little bit more information on the director of the movie, Tim Miller. This was actually his first directing job, actually. He usually is a creative director and visual effects artist. So if you guys have seen Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, he actually did the opening credits for that. Yeah, so, and he also did the opening credits for Thor, Dark World. So this was his first major breakout film.
Yeah.
And I think he did awesome. Just the opening credits already, I was like, I'm hooked. This is great. Actually, Deadpool has already broken a couple of records. So it actually grossed in $300 million worldwide, and you already mentioned that.
Just a bit under, yeah.
Just a bit under. But yeah, still, that's amazing. It is the first R-rated opening to cross the $100 million mark, plus the biggest February debut. And it also almost beat Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and that still actually remains the #1 movie in an opening weekend.
And it was I don't know if you mentioned it was #1 for R. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Yeah, for R. Yeah, that's gonna kind of open up in the future for the other big time R movies that kind of maybe Marvel or other branches kind of want to do. This was kind of that beginning staple.
Well, even Star
to bring
Wars.
That. Even Star Wars.
I mean, there's, think that opens the door of, hey, we can actually make money through a rated R.
Let me ask you.
Star Wars.
Let me ask you. If let's say Deadpool came out a year ago, and Rogue One was scheduled for like 2 years from now, would this maybe open the door for Rogue One being maybe an R movie, like 2 years down the road?
I don't think
if there was a bigger gap and more of a precedent from Deadpool to make, hey, Rogue One, we could do this with R, or is it because it's Disney and Rogue One, it's Star Wars, you still want to stay away from the R?
As a first anthology movie, I don't think you'd do
Yeah, the principal writers working on Rogue One had this in mind years and years ago. So to see the recent success of Deadpool right now, and to try to adjust the writing and the whole script right there and then, I don't think that would quite work out.
But it opens the door up for a rated R Sith movie.
It does.
Yeah.
So
it does.
So, well, fun fact about this new movie, it took actually 11 years to get off the ground. Actually, Marvel Studios was not going to let this get off the ground. Actually, they weren't really into the whole idea of making Deadpool into its own movie because he was such a controversial character, and they really thought he was too extreme to put on the film. But actually, I think it was last year, they leaked some test footage.
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago, they leaked some test footage, and people were going crazy over it. So then that's why they were like, okay, maybe we should give this a chance. So it took 11 years in the making to get off the ground, and after Academy Award-winning costume designer Angus Strothy put the finishing touches on the Deadpool costume, Ryan Reynolds actually admitted to crying when he saw the costume.
Oh, wow.
It's
not green. I love it.
It was a long time in the making. He really wanted this film to get off the ground, and when it finally did, and seeing the costume kind of put it all into perspective, and it was just so overwhelming, and he was so happy. But yeah, I mean, he was made for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you guys haven't seen it, definitely see it. Do not, I repeat, do not take your kids to go see this movie.
Seriously.
It is not a superhero movie in that sense. It's not Superman. It's nothing like that. Don't take your kids.
Which was surprising because
opening, so I went Thursday night, and there was a lot of kids, probably between the ages of 8 to 12, I would say. And my brother actually works at a theater, and what he told me was a lot of parents were taking their kids in, and he was working the box office, and a lot of kids were coming through, and he was telling them, this is rated R, it's a bad rated R too.
Yeah.
It's not like
Like
some one of those rated R.
Edge, it is.
Right.
It's
yes. And they were like, yeah, we know. But once you see it, I don't think they realize how bad it actually is.
I know, yeah. It has a lot of hidden gems in there that you weren't anticipating.
Yeah.
Merc with a Mouth, I think we can say, is here to stay. I mean, that was granted, I'm not a big time comic book reader. I kind of know because of what people talk about online and kind of based on what Deadpool should be. It sounds like this for everybody, and all of us here, is exactly what we kind of wanted out of this kind of movie. Yes, as you mentioned, it should not be for people I'm going to go if you're under 18, I don't think you should see this movie. Yeah. It's definitely kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit, but Deadpool was kind of exactly what we all wanted out of it. And Ryan Reynolds, as he has his point, Ryan Reynolds was perfection for this. I'm not going to say he should limit himself to being Deadpool for the rest of his acting career, but if he did, none of us would have a problem with it because it kind of seems like, as you were saying, he's kind of fit for this role. He was really, really great. He kind of, the comedy, it feels like the buildup of his acting career to this point has kind of played into now him as Deadpool. Like it feels like it's been now he's at the climax of his acting career for not only how great the movie is, but kind of exactly the perfect role for him as a person.
I'm trying to think of anybody else that could play this role. Maybe Chris Pratt. He's funny, but not in the sense where it just doesn't fit.
It's like everyone else is like there's this little reason or this little reason, but Ryan Reynolds, it's every little thing. Like he is now Deadpool. Yeah. That's just kind of how it is. Yeah. Now I came up with a rating system. I'm just going to do something out of something, Mr. Spoilers, because I want to be able to have the little heads come up and do a little cute little thing. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to give this 8.5 Mr. Spoilers out of 10. Okay. 8.5, and I honestly, I just don't want to give a perfect score, but this was a great movie overall. I really enjoyed it. The entertainment value, Ryan Reynolds, the comedy, the storyline along with Deadpool, having the two guys, having the X-Men tie a little bit, the little jabs at X-Men here and there, but
definitely broke the fourth wall a couple times, which was unexpected.
Yeah,
seriously. Yeah, I think you made that joke.
You noted something real quick. You noted something that you noticed when they came back from breaking the fourth wall. Tell people about that.
There was a couple continuity errors where before he broke the fourth wall and he fell into the garbage truck, he actually stabbed two guys using his swords. And then the swords broke off and they weren't with him anymore. So when he fell into the garbage truck, there was no longer the swords there. So after he got out of the garbage truck, the two swords were there. After he broke the fourth wall, came back to the original scene, then the two swords weren't there again. So it's almost like they fixed it in the middle of that and they couldn't grab another scene. There's also a couple other continuity errors in the latter portion of the movie, but solid movie overall.
How many Mr. Spoilers are you giving it?
I'm giving it an 8 Mr. Spoilers out of 10. And I just think it was still a typical hero movie. They did break the rules in the sense that they had the normal archetypes of a superhero movie. They still, it was still a damsel in distress. There was still the superhero at the end. He even got his cadre of fellow mutants, the X-Men, to help him out with that.
And I'm not a big comic book reader, but I kind of know that a lot of people were happy with Colossus having a Russian accent. The way that it sounded like it should have been. And I don't remember the girl's name, but she was pretty comical. That one of the funniest parts, it was a trailer part, but the part where he's talking about, no, please, no, send your tweet. No, by all means, send your tweet. Like, and then I'll wait for you. And then right before that too, here comes the superhero jump. Here comes the superhero jump. She did it. Yes. It's like those little things, like all of it together. How many Mr. Spoilers are you giving it?
This one's tough just because, I kind of think about what movies are coming out this year. And that's kind of how I use my ranking system. Since it's only February and it's so early in the year, it's kind of tough to do that. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. But it could easily, to me, it depends on what movies come out, I guess, this year, how good Civil War is, how good Batman v Superman is. Rogue One, all these movies that are coming out, X-Men, we'll see what they do with X-Men now. But I'm curious to see how the other movies stack up to this.
This was the big moment of the foot to the door opening up this year of superhero movies. And this was a phenomenal start. And granted, there's going to be so many good ones. Even honestly, and we'll farther down the road, I think the worst one, which is saying a lot because I think it's still going to be good. The worst one is going to be Batman vs Superman out of all these this year. And this start of it definitely sets the ceiling pretty dang high for this year to make or break for superhero movies.
But what I will say about this movie was I had more fun watching this movie than I did Star Wars. And I love Star Wars. Star Wars is my favorite movie series, whatever. But I had more fun watching this movie than I did with Star Wars 7.
Yeah, I would say fun's a good word. I definitely like the word fun in terms of doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Melanie, how many Mr. Spoilers are you giving?
You know what? I'm going to agree with you. I'll do an 8.5 for it. Okay. In terms of action, it was fantastic. In terms of comedy, just broke all the boundaries. There was no filter whatsoever. And actually, it was a bit of a love story. Honestly, it was a perfect Valentine's Day movie, I think, because it kind of... What Ryan Reynolds was talking about in his interview with someone was that, Deadpool's a character who makes jokes out of his pain. And he goes through a lot of pain through his life, between having cancer and then, losing his girl and stuff. So you definitely see this character through his journey, and you see how he's trying to go through all this stuff with a smile and a laugh on his face. So I think it's a great movie to go see with a date or something like that.
And
they got to have a good sense of humor and understand a lot of things. I think I give it 8.5, and I agree with Brandon. I think it is very early to kind of put this movie on a high pedestal because there's going to be a lot of great movies coming out.
Great start, though.
But it was a great kickoff for the superhero franchise.
Best way to kick it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, it's here, boom, and it's funny. It's great.
Yeah, it's superhero season for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, though, they are going to get possibly in trouble. They used a Marvel character. This came out, I believe, yesterday. They mentioned a Hydra agent of Hydra.
Oh,
now that's with the Avengers kind of series. So the Avengers and Iron Man and Civil War, they're all completely different from the X-Men. Even though it's Marvel, it's different studios. So you can't. That's why Deadpool can use X-Men characters, but they can't use Iron Man or those guys. But they did use Agent of Hydra. His name is Bob. Now they made a reference to him, but they didn't say Agent or Hydra. They just said Bob.
Yeah.
So and how they explained it was, this is a quote from, let's see, who is this? It doesn't say. But he said that it's kind of something where Marvel fans will understand it, but it's not enough for the studio to be like, you can't use that.
Interesting.
So it was right on that line. So we'll see.
Let's end this on this. I'll go ahead and not spoil this part because it's really funny in the movie. But the Stan Lee appearance.
Yes.
This is something you haven't seen with Stan Lee before.
Absolutely
it's pretty dang
Best
good.
Stan Lee appearance.
I got so excited when I saw him. I was like, oh my God, it's Stan Lee. It's Stan Lee.
All right, we're up against another break here on Footage Fanatics. Coming up next, even though it's been 2 months since Star Wars Episode 7 was released, we never got our official chance to review the movie. We're about to get that chance. Stay tuned.
MyMetMedia.com is a new interactive website. Watch full newscasts from the Met Report. The Metropolitan have you covered. K-Met Radio have everything you need 24 hours a day. El Noticiero TV Met give you news in Spanish. How to advertise with us? Email sales@metmedia.com.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Welcome back to Footage Fanatics. In what seems like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars Episode 7 was released to the masses. Being that this is the debut episode of Footage Fanatics, we never got the chance to give our full review of Episode 7. We now will get that chance. Brandon, starting with you, what were your thoughts on Episode 7?
Thoughts, well, there's a lot. But just, was it the first thing, I mean, was it the best Star Wars? I'm not gonna say that yet. You know, 5 was really good. 5 to me is my favorite. But look, what they did and the things that make me mad about this movie and what people have said about it is it's too much like 4. It's a lot like 4, 5, and 6. To me, they combined kind of all 3, and I think they did a great job of doing that, bringing in the new and kind of pushing the old out. And that's kind of what they did, and they did a perfect job of doing so. Is it like 4? Is it like 5 in some ways? Of course, it has to be, because it's been 30 years. So, you know, that for what they did with it, it was great. It was as perfect as it probably could have got. I don't think you can make that movie any better, but it's not the best just because it is a little bit like the original trilogy.
I'll jump in, and crazily, and I've thought about it even right after I said it, right after the movie, right after I saw it rather, this is my favorite Star Wars movie. My rankings make a lot of people mad. I'll give them to you real quick.
Because you like 3.
Here we go, real quick.
You
Episode
like
7's my favorite. Episode 4 is my second favorite. The Clone Wars animated series is in there at 3, and then Episode 3, and then Episode 5. I know. 5 is good. Excuse me. Yeah, 5, and then I do not like 6. 6, and then 2, then 1. I think 5's great. I think there are better ones. I really loved 4 going in, which is funny because I thought I used to hate Episode 4. But now I kind of like Episode 4 again, and then 7 gets a lot of everything.
To me, it's 5, 4, 7.
5's the thing is it's bunched up. Like 7, 3, 7, 4, 3, the animated series, 5, it's all like right there, so nothing's far away. But Episode 7 overall, real quick, 7 was really my favorite movie of all time. It had all the old stuff, as you mentioned, the rehashing. It had a bunch of the acting was amazing. It was new, so it kind of just the feel of it as well in terms of the visuals, all of it together. 7 was my favorite movie. Kylo Ren's an absolutely amazing villain. Adam Driver did a phenomenal job. I think going forward, he's going to even get more and more better. I really like Adam Driver a lot, but Episode 7 was really, really awesome overall. Melanie, I'll go to you next. I know you don't nerd out as much as we do about Star Wars, but Episode 7, what is your reaction 2 months down, 2 months afterwards?
So, okay, I mean, I've seen the Star Wars movies, and they're entertaining. Episode 7, I do not think it was worth the hype. I'm talking about months and months and months of commercials, of ads, of all this stuff, and I'm expecting for my mind to be blown. I saw it. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it was bad. I'm not going to say I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. I don't think it was worth the hype. That's my honest opinion.
Eric?
I actually thought it fulfilled the hype, really.
Okay.
I mean, I think that...
I think it's the difference between Star Wars fans and people who are casual fans, honestly.
I think you bring up a great point in the sense that I think Star Wars fans, they were given everything that they wanted. you had the returning cast members from the original trilogy. You had brand new no names. I wouldn't say no names, but I mean John Boyega did a great job. Daisy Ridley as well for starting out as far as being brand new to the series and kind of locked into their characters. I thought it was really great character development. Plot. Yeah, it did mimic episode 4, the very first beginning, but I think that was great for just pure nostalgia. And I think you're completely wrong. It does go 5, 4, 7.
5 is for everybody. I like 5. It's just I don't know why it's my favorite. And you're talking to someone. We had the argument about Dark Knight series. I'm not crazy for like everybody else is anyway. So I'm crazy.
It's very subjective, and I don't want to use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
But episode 5 was definitely the best. Following up the praise to 4, that alone and fulfilling that was the best.
Yeah. All right. Well, they're all up there as the same bunch. So I don't want any Star Wars fans coming at me crazy.
I think us 3 can agree though, or maybe all
Star
of
Wars
us.
is back.
It's back, and I think 8 might be the best of all time.
Yeah, probably. Well, that'll do it for our Star Wars official review. Coming up next in the final segment of Footage Fanatics, we'll play some Imitation Game, have Eric give his time to say goodbye, and give our box office predictions for the coming weekend. Don't go anywhere.
Watch our Spanish newscast Noticiero TV Friday at 10:30 a.m. Sports, entertainment, weather, events, all you need to know about our school, our region, and our world.
On Comcast Channel 54 in Denver and Channel 20 on campus. Noticiero TV Met, the student's voice of MSU Denver in Spanish.
Roadrunners, my name is Mary Kate Newton, Editor-in-Chief of the Metropolitan, our school's weekly student-run newspaper, and this is what we do. Check us out for all the latest in Roadrunners sports, all the latest in entertainment and reviews, all the latest in MSU Denver news and other local happenings. And we are always looking for new writers, photographers, and copy editors, so if you're interested in being part of the staff, visit Tivoli 313. The Metropolitan is the student voice of MSU Denver. Let your voice be heard.
Now comes the part of the show that we like to call Imitation Game. All of us fanatics take a famous line from a movie and try and reenact it as best we can. The fanatic who imitates their line the best wins. Eric Kemp, please lead us off.
I hope I do him justice. This is Marlon Brando on the waterfront.
Okay.
It
wasn't him, Charlie. It was you. Remember that night in the garden? You came down to my dressing room and said, "Kid, this ain't your night. We were going for the price on Wilson. You remember that? This ain't your night. My night. I could have taken Wilson apart. So what happened? He gets the title shot outdoors on the ballpark, and what do I get? A one-way ticket to Palookaville. You was my brother, Charlie. You should have looked out for me a little bit. You should have taken care of me.
You should have taken
just
care
a
of
little
me
bit.
so
I wouldn't have to take them dives for the short end money.
I got some bets down for
you. Don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender.
I could have been a contender.
I could have been somebody.
I could have been
instead of a bum, which is what I am.
Instead of a bum, which is what I am. Let's face it.
Well done, sir. You're the winner. I don't care how good we are. That's fantastic. Okay.
Oh, why, thank you.
My turn. Here we go.
Okay, what's the movie from?
Yeah, it's what's yours from?
It was Marlon Brando on the Waterfront. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That was great. My turn. Here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry. Good morning. In less than 1 hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world, and you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind. That word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you'll once again be fighting for our freedom, not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We are fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
I'll give that a 2 out of 10.
A 2? I'm sure you know what movie that's obviously from.
Yeah.
Last time
Independence Day.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that
Thank
line from that movie. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Melanie.
And I can't tell you what.
No.
movie okay.
You can just,
All right.
yeah, afterwards. Okay.
Okay. If you only knew how mean she really is. You know that I'm not allowed to wear hoop earrings, right? Yeah. 2 years ago, she told me hoops were her thing, and I wasn't allowed to wear them anymore. And then for Hanukkah, my parents got me a pair of really expensive white gold hoops, and I had to pretend I didn't even like them, and it was so sad. And you know she cheats on Aaron. Yeah, every Thursday, she acts like she's doing SAT prep, but she's really hooking up with Shane Oman in the projection room above the auditorium. And I never told anybody because I am such a good friend.
Well done.
All right,
well
done.
Mean Girls.
Yeah, Mean Girls.
My favorite
All
movie.
right. Brandon?
Yeah, so mine's different.
Okay, no, I'm down. Okay.
So guys, what's up? Might have to.
Oh! Can we get zoom in? Zoom
Might
in,
have to zoom
camera.
in. I love it.
Camera, check it. Zoom in. Check it out. Camera 2, let's go. Check it. He just handed me. Eliza's playing a McLovin. And now look at him. Look camera 1 again. Look at him. Side by side. You can. No,
You're
you
trying to
can't
be
do
an
that.
Irish
Look at
R&B
that.
singer?
Now switch back to this. Look at that. Look at that. That's all you needed.
I'm a terrible drawer.
That was
I am.
well
I
done.
am
I'll make you a
terrible.
round of applause. That's
That's
good.
good.
That's
Good
good.
job, McLovin.
That's good. Time to say goodbye.
Gotta be different.
Eric, this is a segment where we kind of either you want to say goodbye to want an actor to go away, or a movie to go away, or a movie series, or whatever. Eric Kemp, you have for this week. Time to say goodbye. What needs to go away?
It is time to say goodbye to cash cow sequels. You mentioned Kung Fu Panda 3. It didn't warrant a 2 or a 3. I love Kung Fu Panda. I do. I mean, it represents kind of Asian cultures and kind of different folk tales, but it didn't need a sequel. It doesn't need a sequel. London Has Fallen, it doesn't need a sequel. Olympus Has Fallen, was that not enough for anybody? I mean, Terminator Genesis from last year, you need a sequel on that? No. No, it doesn't. And they're only there because you know people are going to go see these movies and they're cash cows. They're just raking in the money. So it's time to say goodbye to those. We got to stop, if we stop going to these kind of just these crappy cash cow sequels, I think they'll stop putting them out.
And are people going to stop going?
No.
Nope.
No.
So are they going to stop making them?
But that's just my personal
Nope.
opinion. And that's just my personal opinion. But I think, it just goes back to saying that, Hollywood, we got to find more original stories. And I think that's why Deadpool did so well, is that they adapted it from the comic perfectly onto a moving screen. And so kudos to Deadpool, but yeah, some of these even bigger superhero movies that I know we're big fanboys of and fangirls of, is that I'm not too big on them either. The entertainment value is great, but they just don't need to be made.
Kung Fu Panda XVII,
Yes.
Christopher Walken, live action appearance.
Wait. If it's Christopher Walken, I'll go see
Live
anything
action
that man
appearance
is.
in Kung Fu Panda XVII, you would see that.
Yes. Christopher Walken.
Stop.
I'll see anything with Christopher Walken.
In Kung Fu Panda live? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Live on Ice.
Are we going to ever see a series that goes past 10?
Star Wars.
Well, okay, not counting that.
Resident Evil, isn't that?
That's got to be. I don't think they label it,
Yeah,
but at
that's
this
pretty.
point, yeah,
But
probably.
okay, what about something like some of these other superhero stuff? I mean, Marvel's obviously close with the Avengers. But that's all different stories. That's all different,
No, but
people.
you bring up a good point is that that they're all interconnected.
Right.
So in essence, they're kind of a sequel to each other.
Yeah, but they're really the only ones that can do that. I mean, DC can try.
Well,
good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was a great first show.
Yeah.
That was. You guys have fun?
Yeah.
The new set, we had posters. We had a House of Cards poster, Zoolander 2, Deadpool, Walking Dead, Star Wars, and Game of Thrones. The amazing set. Thanks to our awesome crew, honestly.
Thank you.
You guys are all absolutely fantastic. Shout out to everyone.
Sorry if we spoiled anything to you.
Yeah, sorry if we spoiled anything to you. We love you all. If we forgot, I don't want to name names because I'll forget somebody. You guys are all amazing. Kent and Ahek, you guys are fantastic. So
Go see Deadpool.
Go see
Again.
Deadpool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yay.
Well, it's come time, as I mentioned, to end our debut episode of Footage Fanatics. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and of course, head on over to footagefanatics.com. See you later.